Ray Bradbury was an American author and screenwriter. He is one of the most celebrated 20th and 21st century American writers. He worked in a variety of genres including fantasy, science fiction, horror, and mystery fiction. His best-known novel was Fahrenheit 451, and his work was based on the fantastical and unreal. In this scene, Montag and Clarice walked in the warm, cool, blowing night on the silvered pavement, and there was the faintest breath of fresh apricots and strawberries in the air. And he looked around and realized this was quite impossible, so late in the year. There was only the girl walking with him now, her face bright as snow in the moonlight, and he knew she was working his questions around, seeking the best answers she could possibly give.
You are a new neighbor, aren't you?
And you must be the fireman.
How oddly you say that.
I'd have known it with my eyes shut.
What the smell of kerosene? My wife always complains. You never wash it off completely.
No, you don't.
Kerosene is nothing but perfume to me.
Does it seem like that, really?
Of course, why not?
I don't know. Do you mind if I walk back with you? I'm Clarice McClellan.
What are you doing out so late? Wandering around? How old are you?
Well, I'm 17 and I'm crazy. My uncle says the two always go together. When people ask your age, he said always say 17 and insane. Isn't this a nice time of night to walk? I'd like to smell things and look at things, and sometimes stay up all night walking and watch the sun rise.
Mildred is Montag's brittle, sickly-looking wife. She is obsessed with watching television and refuses to engage in frank conversation with her husband about their marriage and her feelings. Her suicide attempt, which she refuses even to acknowledge, clearly indicates that she harbors a great deal of pain. In this scene, Mildred embodies dehumanization. She has recovered from her overdose, but she either doesn't believe her husband when he tells her what happened or prefers to deny it. She is also wearing her seashell radio, the continual broadcast shutting out the actual world and further separating her from Montag. Mildred's eagerness to get a fourth television wall installed, so she'll be completely surrounded by her programs, reveals how technology and censorship are intertwined. While firemen burn books, most people are like Mildred and actively use technology to avoid thinking. The story Fahrenheit 451 revolves around this issue of book burning, but there is a deeper meaning to the book. Bradbury is warning that the monopolizing effect of social media will transform generations to come into a society with no genuine connections, no distinctive thoughts, and excessive reliance on technology. After pouring kerosene throughout the old woman's home and instinctively stealing one of her books, Montag begs the women to leave her house before they set it on fire. Despite Montag's plea, the old woman refuses to leave her book. The old woman committed suicide as an act of defiance against the authoritarian government and oppressive fireman institution. The salamander is one of the official symbols of the firemen, or their fire truck. Whenever Montag goes to work, he greets the mechanical hound, a sleeping killer android that resembles a dog. When Montag touches it, the hound growls and looks at him with suspicion. A needle it uses to kill its prey emerges and retracts from the hound's snout repeatedly, and the android follows Montag a few steps before returning to its kennel. Montag joins the rest of the firemen, who are playing the cards, and reports the hound doesn't like him. A phoenix comes from ancient mythology. It is a bird with a circular life cycle that is continually reborn from its own ashes. It is a symbol of renewal and rebirth and fire. It has appeared and been mentioned in many books throughout the years. Towards the end of the novel, Granger says that they must build a mirror factory to take a long look at themselves. This remark calls Montag's description of Clarice as a mirror in the hearth and the salamander. Mirrors here are the symbols of self-understanding and seeing oneself clearly.
Come on now, we're going to build a mirror factory first and put out nothing but mirrors for the next year and take a long look at them.
This scene was when Montag met Faber for the first time once Montag was walking through a park. He saw Faber look guilty and tried to hide something, so he went over to him. They talked for a long time, and then Faber finally gave Montag his name and address, in case Montag wanted to turn him in to the authorities later on.
The 3 things that will require for a full life. First is exposure to nature and the world of books. Second is leisure to think. And third is freedom to act.
Surprisingly, the fire truck stops at Montag's house. Captain Biddy is the primary antagonist of Fahrenheit 451. Also Montag's boss. He's the leader of the firemen, which is responsible for uphold the status quo and destroy any illegal books. Betty orders Montag to burn the house by himself with his flamethrower and warns that the Hound is on the watch for him if he tries to escape.